Good evening and welcome to Wake Up and Live with the Arts. I'm Sue Johnson, your co-host, and we are sitting here on the stage at the Jellic Theater at Karamu, the United States' oldest continuing African-American, basically, theater. And I'm sitting on the set of Ain't Nothin But the Blues by Charles Mississippi Bevel, who directed the play along with our own artistic director, Mr. Terrence Spivey. So these two gentlemen, we're going to spend a few minutes chatting. We're going to spend a few minutes listening to Mississippi's music, which I've always, in fact, I have one of your early CDs, as a matter of fact, back from those days when you were working with Margaret Ford Taylor. Yes.
Okay.
Now, don't ask me where it is, but I got it. Okay, let's start with you, Mr. Spivey, Artistic Director, because already the season is up and running.
Yes.
With Ain't Nothin But the Blues. How did you find Mississippi?
Actually,
I
I found him in New York before I came here.
Way back when?
It had to be around 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
It was at a fundraiser or award ceremony downtown, well, actually around Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to mention, I think I mentioned Karamu to him, and he mentioned he's from there, from Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh, you going to the Moo?"
Yeah, that's it. That's the nickname for Karamu.
You're going to the
Anybody
Moo.
who's an insider calls it the Moo. Yes.
Yeah, so when I got here in 2003, he started coming by when he come visit family, and he'd bring some of his relatives with him, even some of his nieces and nephews, which is so nice to hear again, continuing that generation of young folks knowing about Karamu House.
Yes.
And then of course it Ain't Nothing But the Blues. I knew of him working on that piece with the late Ron Taylor, and it was about 5-6 years ago I was looking to put it up, and we weren't able to do it. And at the time I was looking to direct the piece at the time, and then of course around this past summer, I think, a spring summer, it's like we were getting ready to tie in to celebrate 100th anniversary. We had just finished kicking off Peter Austin Jones's Karamu House Hall of Fame.
Yes, that celebration.
That celebration, and that was the kickoff. I said we might as well continue that through the season.
That's the theme this
The
year.
thing, it's all in the family, which is connecting the different shows with Karamu alums. And the first thing I said, it ain't nothing but the blues. I gotta put it up.
Put it up, yeah.
And I said, okay, let's go further besides Mississippi being one of the creators. I'm going to talk to him and see if he'd like to direct the show.
Yeah. And
so that's how it came about.
And his show, I don't know whether you, that's right, you were busy taking opening night notes. Directors always sit in the back row,
Yes.
madly scribbling notes from the opening performance. And he got a standing O after after the opening night performance, as well it should. So you need to get down here, and the show runs until
October 12th.
October 12th, so that still gives you, what, almost 3 weeks?
Yes.
Almost 3 weeks.
And he's gotten excellent reviews already from the Examiner.
Oh, I didn't have a chance to open it today.
Yes, and I'm looking for another one. We're looking for another good one in The Plain Dealer. Andrea Samakis.
Was she here?
She saw it and she loved it too.
Okay.
So
It's, can I describe it as a musical review as opposed, how would you describe
I
it?
would describe it as a historical review using music as the vehicle.
To tell the story.
Yeah, we're talking about 400 years of black music in America from the time we landed here from Africa up until maybe the 60s. And that's it, you know, a review of American history through black music.
And honey, that black music is stomping. And you guys got to come down and see it, because after a bit you will recognize some of the numbers, and you just can't help but singing in, clapping your hands, snapping your fingers to be part of the musical presentation. I forgot his name. Anderson?
Anthony?
Anthony?
Anthony, yes, Harris.
You
Anthony
have
Harris.
got to come see, if nobody else, Anthony Harris. I mean,
He's having fun, yeah.
he is having definite fun and helping to carry the story.
Right.
Of course, my favorite girl, Joyce.
Joyce Lindsay.
Yeah, Joyce Lindsay. She's a mess. I mean, she's just a mess. That's all there is to it. So tell us, before we hear Mississippi, let us engage in hearing his wonderful original music. Tell us about your 2014-15 season. Now, we know Ain't Nothing But the Blues runs till October 12th. Yeah.
And we open December 5th with Leap of Faith.
Which you're auditioning for
yes,
right now.
Yes, that's a Christmas show, which is based off the movie with Deborah Winger and Steve Martin about this flim-flam guy, con artist, and his ministry goes into Kansas, a small town, Kansas, and they end up getting stuck there and ended up actually creating miracles that he wouldn't imagine. So this is a philosophy of the Jelliffs, integrated casting. Jonas Nightingale, the minister, is going to be of an African-American role for someone. So I'm following that philosophy. It's all in the family with the Jelliffs beliefs. And the Silvers.
Yeah, and Heidi, my daughter, just saw Dorothy, and she sent regards because they were laying a brick for Reuben out at the hospice center. So, yeah, they are living legends and moved on legends. In case you don't know it, we always take a minute to talk about the history of Russell and Rowena Jelliff, who founded Caramoo House. Caramoo Theater has been known by several names, and at the time, Caramoo means a joy of the place of joyful gathering. In Swahili. Yes. And Caramoo was not intended to be purely an African-American based theater, and over the years it went through a phase where it kind of became known that. However, and there's a white singer in the cast tonight. I mean, in the Ain't Nothing But the Blues cast.
Yes.
And I love the way she was cast, too, to do her music that was more of a Caucasian approach than the soul gospel approach.
Yes.
But Terrence, yes, he has been responsible for helping Caramoo get reintegrated into the community so that artists and patrons will know that this is a fine, wonderful place to come for theater. In fact, guess what I forgot to do? I promised Richard I would put up an audition notice, but that was for tonight, wasn't it?
Yes.
Isn't he coming?
So it's tonight and tomorrow, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, Leap of Faith.
Yeah, because I wanted to
auditions.
make sure that people knew it was non-traditional casting.
Yes,
and,
it is.
Remind me to do that tonight. Okay. So now, and then listen, Terrence and Pat Egan, the executive director, who we're very pleased supports us and helps host our work here on, Lord, I can't get it open. The 2014-15 season, here it is, whereby, and Lester, I'll give this to you to fly it, up into the email, but where all of the productions, there's some affiliation with Caramoo, past or present, actors, directors, dancers, singers, what have you, and after I love this show. After, now I'm getting the giggles. Now I'm getting the giggles. After Ain't Nothing But the Blues, it's One Monkey, Don't Stop No Show. Now that's absolutely ridiculous. And then Leap of Faith in December. Then Joe Turner's Come and Gone and the Mighty Scarabs. So you can and then there's The Wiz. The Wiz is closing out the season. Point being, call Caramoo 216-795-7070 and talk to the box office so that if you need them to mail you a whole season's brochure, they will be happy to do that so you won't miss out on any of the shows. Now, in the meantime, you'll notice there's no show in November. That's because we at Wake Up and Live's Actor Studio has the honor of performing our special play here in the Jelliff called Commemorative, written by our very own Vicki Williams. And this is a tribute to 4 local Tuskegee airmen. And who's in the play? Corporal Roy Richardson will be portrayed by James McGilvray. The late Lieutenant Colonel Clarence Jameson will be portrayed by Peter Lawson Jones. The late Staff Sergeant Thomas Austin will be portrayed by Rob Alexander. And the late Sergeant James Travis will be portrayed by Caramoo's own Prophet C. So it'll be a wonderful cast, a wonderful time. So you can contact Wake Up 4664 at AOL for ticket prices and how to get your tickets, and the information will be complete for you, including the fact the shows will be Saturday, November 8th from 7:30. It's not a long play, it's till about 8:30, quarter to 9. And then on Sunday afternoon, November 9th at 3 o'clock curtain. So contact us at wakeup4664@aol.com for information about our play, commemorative, or again, contact 795-7070, and the business office will help you get information about the season. And currently this season has kicked off with a Caribou alum, Charlie Bevel, Mississippi
Yes,
Bevel, as everybody knows.
I call him Sip.
Sip.
Mhm.
Oh, of course, I'm gonna start doing that while you're around. How did you come up with your bowler with the feather as one of your signature pieces?
Well, when we were doing this play in New Jersey at a black theater called Crossroads,
I think I've heard of it.
yeah, just before in fact, they're the ones who took us to Broadway. One of the people in the cast was Eloise Laws, from the famous Laws,
Yes,
famous. And she had a daughter with her, about maybe 6 or 7, 8 years old, and we had a Christmas party. And the child came up and gave me a feather. I stuck it in my hat, and it's not the same feather, but I've worn a feather in the boulder ever since.
Yeah, so everybody knows you in that boulder.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
everybody knows you with that guitar, and you didn't bring your harmonica, did you?
No, I just brought the guitar.
Because we were trying to sneak it in, because Terrence was trying to sneak it in.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you get started with the guitar and, the harmonica, which we're not doing tonight?
Well, I got started in music very late. One of the interesting things, let me proceed to answering your question with, I was fortunate enough to spend 3.5 years in Africa.
Ooh, okay.
In fact, where 3 of my 4 children were born in Africa. And one of the things...
Are they African or American?
They're both.
Okay.
One of the things that I experienced over there in Africa, which really sort of gave me an understanding of black music in America, is that everybody in Africa sings.
Okay.
And generally, often, songs are created spontaneously. And one of the legacies of that is that, when blues men sing, they generally repeat the first line of the song.
Okay.
Well,
yes.
in Africa, if you're doing a spontaneous song, how are people going to participate other than repeating what you say?
Yeah.
So, but one of the things when we began to put It Ain't Nothing But the Blues together, it was about understanding that this thing in Africa, it's almost like, I believe the ancestors said to us,
Yes.
never stop singing, never stop dancing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I decided to do for this Caribou production, which is add something that has never been in any of the other productions, even the ones on Broadway, I decided to add some dance to this production.
Oh,
So we start in Africa with a celebration dance.
Yes.
And so, but anyway, getting back to how I became Mississippi. When I left Mississippi at the age of 12, when I came to Cleveland, one of the most terrorizing things to me was for someone to know that I was from Mississippi, because we were supposed to be dumb, stupid, and
Yes,
ignorant.
and
all
held
of
back
that.
in school and all that
So
stuff.
I was
yes.
very embarrassed about being from Mississippi. But after I had gone to Africa and came back and started working in Chicago in the civil rights movement, I took up the name Mississippi as a redemptive move.
Okay.
Mississippi did nothing to me, some crazy folk down there were still doing crazy things. But the land, Mississippi itself, was what I survived on.
Okay.
So I took up the name as sort of a redemptive thing. And so that's how I became Mississippi.
And
Yeah.
ever since.
Ever
And ever since you've been plucking that guitar.
I've been plugging this guitar.
Well, let's pluck some more, honey.
All right,
So
and-
our audience will
And I'll
get
tell you
to
what,
enjoy. Yes.
interestingly,
Do you need me to move back a little
No,
bit?
no, no,
You
no,
sure?
stay away.
Okay.
This particular song was actually written for a Caribou production. We did The Grapes of Wrath here,
Yes,
and
yes.
the director wasn't too fond of the Broadway music, so we kind of sneaked in a few things of our own.
Okay.
And this is one of the songs. called Not of Seasons. Because we human beings, unlike other creatures on the earth, do not have a season for reproduction. 24/7, 365 days of the year.
366 on Sunday.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah. We be at it, man.
Oh, yeah.
Babies coming to this world not of season. And even though we don't, they know the reason. Oh, and the one who sends them gives them gifts to carry. Tell them, children, take your time, but do not tarry. You will all arrive but naked, equally endowed to make it. You should have everything you need when you get there. You should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. You should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. Gods and babies do not know how we're divided, or to send those children never would have been decided. Red and brown, black and white is how we mark them. Rich and poor, high and low is how we start them. Why do we make those distinctions when we don't have an inkling of what each child will bring or how they'll share? We just take and crush their gifts like we don't care. Then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath. So we all get in line for a young one. Some will grab 10 or 12, some will get none. And the children grabbed by rich ones will be pampered. And the children left to poor ones will be hampered. Why do we act like such heathens when every known religion teaches us each and every child is in our care? They should never have to eat grapes of wrath. They should never have to eat the grapes of wrath. Why do we make those distinctions when we don't have an inkling of what each child will bring or how they'll share? We just take and crush their gifts like we don't care. Oh, then we send them out to harvest the grapes of wrath.
Wow, what a social commentary.
Well, thank you, man.
How did you discover you could sing and play the guitar and the harmonica? How did you discover that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was about probably in my mid-30s when I got back from Africa. And I was in Chicago, and one of those serendipitous occasions.
Yes, South Side Chicago.
South Side.
Of course. Is there any other place in Chicago?
Someone gave me a guitar.
Uh-huh.
And so I just started kind of figuring out, you know, how am I going to learn to play this thing? And I started, and almost when I learned to play a few chords, melodies just came, you know. And one of the things that I've discovered about music is that all art is a means of trying to express a feeling or put into other people's head a picture that is in your head. Mm-hmm. And it came pretty easy for me, and I almost started writing songs immediately.
Okay, and singing with them as you were writing them out.
Yeah.
So how did the harmonica come to play?
Well, I had to learn the harmonica for a production that I was in. It was in New Jersey. We were doing a piece written by Zora Neale Hurston called, what's the county that she's from in Florida? Polk County.
Polk County.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful production.
Yes,
we did it in Princeton and also Berkeley in California, a piece called Polk County. And I had to learn to play the harmonica
For that.
to perform in that particular production.
And look at where you have brought your talents, your artistry, and everything else that you hold claim to, and he's such a regular
Yes, he is.
guy.
Yes,
You know, he
yes.
doesn't
Down
hold airs. Or, well, most of the regular guys, like Bill Cobbs and them, they
Yeah.
just home folks.
You know what's interesting?
What?
In my very first production that I auditioned for at Crossroads in 1987, it was a piece written by a Caramel alum. What's his name? The poet.
Langston Hughes,
A
yes.
piece called Simply Heavenly.
Heavenly, yeah.
Oh.
And Bill Cobbs had come back from California to direct it.
Yeah. I wasn't
And
in that production.
yeah.
I was in one where Richard, he played a lot
Richard
of
Gant.
Richard Gant.
Yes.
He did that one. Yeah.
So that was my first experience at Caramel, and so it's all kind of tied together. And,
Sure.
yeah.
That's the way the universe plans it. So, yes,
I just
Mr.
have to say
Spivey.
this full circle here,
Yeah.
because I forgot he did Polk County.
Uh-huh.
A friend of mine, Harriet Foy, I think, was in that production too. But also, I remember the play originally started at the Arena Stage in D.C. because it was one of her lost scripts.
Yeah.
Okay.
They happened to find it in the Library of Congress. It was somewhere off in the storage somewhere.
Okay.
Now, what had
Or something.
happened, they
Go
had
ahead.
dumped stuff
dumped it,
in,
yes.
in the,
And
somebody crawled in and
Found
found
it.
this
Yeah.
Zora Neale
Neale
Hurston.
and they kind of, the Arena did some retooling with it.
Yeah.
And that's a piece that I had always been wanting to bring to Carol.
Bring the camera. Is there
It's
still a chance that you might?
wonderful piece.
Hopefully, yeah.
Wonderful piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to get Sip, as Terrence calls him, to play out for us, but just in case, because we also do kind of educational stuff for our audience.
Yes.
But in case you don't know Zora Neale Hurston, she was from the Renaissance in the 1920s, maybe 30s, and she was very well known. Of course, Langston Hughes, everybody knows him as a poet and how he spent time right here in Caramel, including, I understand, he had a suite upstairs and lived here.
Supposedly in my office.
Oh, that's what, that's.
That's-
So as we get through, we could talk for days and a half.
Yeah.
This is so fascinating to me. I hope it's fascinating to you, our viewing audience. But anyway, how are you going to play us out?
Well, I'm going to play y'all out with a little something that you can help on.
Okay.
Now, what you have to do is just repeat the chorus after me, see? Now,
Okay.
the thing of it is, we never get too old to have a little fun. And so you just repeat after me as I say what I say on the chorus, and the chorus goes like this. Woo! Woo! Yeah, come on, Terrence.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Hey! Hey! All right. Heard you had some trouble. I would like to help you. In my time I've had a little trouble too. If you let it get you down, I'll bet you it will get you down and walk around on you. Sweet misery, she loves your company. She's in a crowd when she gets you all alone. She doesn't care follow you anywhere. She is most happy when she makes you moan. Say, aye. Come on. Yeah, yeah. Woo. When she makes you moan. My dog had some puppies. Would you like to have one? He will be your friend and he will lick your face. He will never cheat you, never will he beat you. Help you be a winner in the human race. But sweet misery, she loves your company. She's in a crowd when she gets you all alone. She doesn't care, follow you anywhere. She is most happy when she makes you moan. Say hi.
Hey!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah!
She makes you moan. Heard you feeling better. Glad you found some happy. In my time I've had a little happy too. If you let it get you up, I'll bet you it will get you up and keep you smiling through. But sweet misery, loves your company. She's in a crowd when she gets you all alone. She doesn't care, follow you anywhere. She's most happy when she makes you moan. Say, hey, hey.
Oh, Lord, I wish we could stay here all night. Okay. All right, darling, both of you, I mean, I don't know what to say. Get off the stage. No, thank you so much.
You're
I'm
very
so
welcome.
thrilled to have had this opportunity to chat with you. And of course, I'll be seeing you again while you're here in Cleveland, which is your home, even though you travel. Oh, kind of.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, no. I literally actually am resident still, as
Okay.
it were now.
Yes,
so,
of course.
Yeah, I
Yes.
do travel a lot, but
I know. Yeah, it's hard to catch you. That's why I was so thrilled that you were going to be here for Ain't Nothing But the Blues. And you got till October 12th to get yourself down here and have a good old stomp and jam, which is actually music and African history and all that stuff woven into one. And thank you, sir, for your contributions
Thank
to
you.
helping bring Karamu back to some of its former glory and moving on to new glories.
Yeah, thank you.
And for creating this season. And of course, I don't want to leave out Pat Egan, the interim executive director. For that matter, David Reynolds, the
David Reynolds, the
chair
board chair.
of the board.
Yes.
Yeah. And all the folks who have helped us land here at Karamu and enjoy all the wondrous things about it. Don't go away. We'll see you soon. This is Sue Johnson. Wake up and live with the arts.